Aries, 26. A man possessed of more gifts than he can hold. This is a warning against overstretching in life. We do what we do and we become more and more skillful at whatever, and it's very unusual for a skilled person to be skilled in only one thing. It may be that we have a particular expertise and we've taken that to the point of excellence and mastery, and yet there's all sorts of other things that we can do. And typically we follow our appetites and our excitements and our enthusiasms to study a particular line of inquiry, and that might be philosophical or educational or skillful, and it might lead to some ability that we have in the world, perhaps to make money. Typically we give our best attention, our most ardent input work in the matter of achieving a career topic, something that we can actually make money from. But you can widen that, of course, and develop other skills and abilities through your hobbies and interests. And sometimes these become actually where we find the best route to mastery. So perhaps at a certain age you find that you're pretty skilled at a handful of things. And the decision to not go further in one or two areas where you've done very well is quite a tricky one. We tend to we tend to continue to progress in the same direction, and bit by bit we realize that if we do this and that and the other, then actually we're just exploring the range of experience on the level of breadth, not depth. And of course that's valid up to a point, but we're looking here in this degree about where that point is. When do you stop doing both of two things so that you can actually engage with the one to the depth that you can take it, the heights of experience and knowledge and wisdom and understanding? When do you do that? How do you do that? That's what we're looking at here. So we can say that we develop skills and experience and contacts in order to expand the palette that we have available to paint our life story. Or look at it differently, collect more tools for our toolbox. But just because we have a hammer in the toolbox, it doesn't mean that we have to go around looking for nails. It's there if we need it. So perhaps during the course of your discovering how to be good at whatever your career requires of you, you notice that people skills become very important. Most jobs require this, not all, but most. And you might find yourself to become a much better listener, a more sympathetic person, and develop the qualities of being a counsellor, even though that's not your job. Well, that doesn't mean that you've got to take up counselling. It just means that you could have, but it's silly to take up too much, because that will render it impossible, actually, to get to the depth of any particular thing. In following our enthusiasms and ambitions, we develop these powers, skills and experience and contacts. And it would be foolish for us to think that that's the reward for expressing ambition. It is a reward, but it's not the reward. And this wisdom that's being shown to us with this degree is that there's a higher reward than what can be measured in worldly terms. On the level of soul, we find that as we pursue our quest for excellence, we develop qualities. And these qualities are not the same as powers and skills. They're a lot more subtle. And these are registered by the soul. The soul has no real interest in events and rewards and really even the skills themselves. the soul's interest is in the qualities that give rise to these things, the qualities. It goes deeper. And these qualities are permanent. They survive death. We can't take much with us when we go. We can't take our money or our reputation and so on, or even our family. But what we can take are the qualities that go along with those things. So we can take qualities of confidence, self-confidence, and love, and the attitude of mastery, the sharpness of being, and the subtlety of perception. These attitudes that go along with mastery, self-mastery in particular, of course. We can take those with us. Now, it'd be very interesting to redefine the soul, just for the purposes of this understanding, as that part of the psyche which records and stores and registers things of permanent importance. Now, in a world where nothing has permanence, we change from this to that to the other very quickly, and eventually we die, and it's all gone, except for whatever is not gone, whatever is eternal. And there must be a way to store that in order for it to continue. And the way that is that the soul changes its beingness. If you cannot change the qualities of the soul by doing whatever it is you're doing on earth, then it's not at the highest level of expression. We are not only physical bodies with personalities and needs and so on, and shaping a personality to identify how best to negotiate this troubled world that we live in. That's not only what we are, and yet the quiet soul's voice doesn't speak to us of the really important things unless we listen quietly for it. And when it does, it says, qualities are what I want. I can take those forward. And so that part of the psyche that deals with this question, what in this particular moment in my life, what is of permanent value? Is this conversation changing who I am, what I am on the level of soul, or is it not? If it's not, then it's passing and trivial. It can be dismissed, really, as soon as you turn away from it. But certain things that we do in life have permanence. In other words, they are of eternal importance. And these are stored in the soul. That's what the soul is, the storage facility for things of permanent worth. Knowing this, then we can direct our attention to whichever of the many strings to our bow that we have, the one or two or three that really speak to the soul. So, yes, you're an impressive businessman. Yes, you're an assertive businesswoman, or an important manager in the hospital, or whatever you do to make you feel good about yourself and to put bread on the table. Yes, but which of all the things are you doing develop the soul? Perhaps it's your love of nature, or your ability at music, even though you're not very good, shall we say, in any professional sense. Nevertheless, when you play music, you feel delightful. And nobody will agree with the quality of the music that you're playing, but you feel delightful when you're playing it. That's a soul quality. Or maybe you hear the news that there's starvation in a country in the Middle East or something, and you register compassion, and you somehow radiate that compassion in receipt of that information on the television. You can heal people who are suffering in the world by radiating compassion at the television. And you've kind of worked that out for yourself, and you do that. Now, these inconsequential things, inconsequential being the measurement of the world's approach, they're not inconsequential at all. These things, the soulful things in your life, these are more important eternally. perhaps we need to give more attention to them and less attention to the things that give us pats on the head from society and money and self-importance and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's useful and important up to a point, but that's not the game. That's kind of the distraction, or very minimal. It is the stepping stone towards playing the game. But the game is how to find things to do which make you aware of who you are at the level of soul.